Good evening. As we speak, West Bengal stands on the cusp of history. Polling ended across the state just a few hours ago, and a new Bengali word has already entered the national vocabulary. Poribartan. Change, big change. As the Newsec C voter exit poll you're about to see suggests, Mamata Banerjee is all set to sweep West Bengal. The TMC Congress alliance is poised to win as many as 3/4 of the seat in the state's assembly, pushing the left towards political oblivion. So stay tuned for all the numbers and predictions coming up just right now. All right, I'm Jahangir Pochan. Here's the Newsec C voter exit poll for West Bengal, which we'll be discussing with our guests. Now, with us will be Manish Tiwari, the spokesperson for the Congress party. Also, Derek O'Brien of the TMC is with us from Kolkata. Manab Mukherjee of the CPM also joins us from the city. And last and certainly not least, we have with us Tarun Vijay of the BJP. He'll be joining us in just a moment. And of course, also with us is Yashwant of C voter, the psephologist who's put all those numbers together for you. So, but first, Sneha Mordani, let's have the numbers themselves.
That's right, Jahangir. A sea change expected in West Bengal this time around. Mamata Banerjee, in all likelihood, likely to drive out the left-front government out of West Bengal after 34 years of rule. Let's take a look at the numbers over here. In fact, the left front is expected to get barely around 48 to 56 seats, as you can see there. And Didi, though, trumps the Congress on the left and is predicted to get about 192 seats out of a total of about 294 seats there in West Bengal in terms of the vote share. Let's look at that. TMC is expected to have about 36% of the total votes, and the Congress likely to have 16%, the left front to have 39% and 9% for the other parties there, Jahangir. And let's also look at the vote swing there, really, what the voters are thinking about, whom the voters really are going to stand by this time around. Mamata is expected to swing an additional 9% of votes her way. The Congress a small 1%. The left front will swing about 11% of that away, meaning 11% voters this time around will not vote for the party, will not vote for left this time around. So, Jahangir, in all probability, we can expect Didi really to drive out left front government out of West Bengal after 34 years. It indeed is going to be a historic election.
All right, well, let's take those numbers and let's get a response from what must be a very happy Derek O'Brien. Derek, you've seen those numbers, a clean sweep for you. With your partner, the Congress, you could win as many as 3/4 of the seats in the West Bengal Assembly. That puts a huge burden on you. Are you worried that with success like this, you know, it often backfires, as we saw with Barack Obama? What's the mood in the party right now?
I think the mood in the party, we are shooting this program, we're coming to you from the Trinamool headquarters in Calcutta. The mood in the party is that these are exit polls, these are not the results. We have waited for 3.5 decades to try and reach where we have. So we do not mind waiting another 2.5 days. We would rather wait for the results than give you such reactions on exit polls. However, having been said, let me tell you that the Poribartan or Parivartan is happening in Bengal. That is a given. And we had our own internal party estimates where we felt very strongly internally that the halfway mark would be crossed with the Trinamool Congress would cross the halfway mark, and
okay,
the Trinamool Congress and the Congress combined would cross the 2/3 mark, mark. The alliance would be 2/3 and Trinamool on its own would be more than 50%. So this is our understanding. But we're all reasonably calm. We don't want to be cocky, arrogant or start the celebrations too early. So we'll wait till Friday.
Okay, well, that's a very sort of mature, some would even say circumspect Derek O'Brien, but his party facing a historic win after 34 years. poised to win more by our exit poll than Derek O'Brien himself seemed to be wishing for. Just to recap our numbers very quickly, 294 seats in the West Bengal Assembly. Mamta said to win 192 herself, the TMC alone, with the Congress, their partner, said to win 47, taking that total up to 235. Now, Yashwant Deshmukh, it would be nice to have had Yashwant Sinha here commenting on this. But let me ask you this. You were in West Bengal. You were speaking to voters. Is this as much a victory for the TMC as it is a loss for the left? Isn't it really the left that shot itself in the foot here?
I think the first is the loss for the left, and the second is they are losing because of Mamta. So it both go hand in hand, because if it was not for Mamta Banerjee, if it was not that kind of fierce identity, fierce contrast of politics over there, then people wouldn't have rallied behind her, and she has worked really hard for this. She has really worked very hard. And as far as numbers are concerned, I agree with Derek on that it's basically exit polls, we get the vote share. You know, we know that they are almost touching 50% of vote share. They are almost having a lead of 8 to 10% everywhere over the left front. Now, how much it will really convert into the number of seats, that is an arithmetic formula, and there is no direct correlation on that. So, but nevertheless, going by our own experience, they are poised to have towards a historic win.
All right. Well, let's put this to Manam Mukherjee. Sir, I know you could say exit polls mean nothing. Let's wait 2 days. But let me put it this way. It's not looking good for you. Whichever way you cut the cake, you're going to get a very small piece of the pie. Many are using the words political oblivion when they talk about the left.
Yes, primarily I'll love to have your psephologists on 13th evening show. Now I have their prediction, and on 13th we'll have the verdict of people of Bengal, and you can judge the real gap between the academic exercise and reality.
But let me ask you, do you really think that what I said in the end, that you're fundamentally going to lose, is untrue? Do you really think you could win?
Definitely we will win. Just wait for 2 days. You know, as a science, psephology has done matured in India, and in West Bengal the difficulty is more that heterogeneity of the composition and a huge polling percentage that make difficult to determine the sample size. But the other thing in all this kind of poll prediction, one thing is consistent is West Bengal. During the last few decades, when psephology has come publicly, in all the prediction, always the predict, the underestimate the strength of the left. You can't find out one single poll prediction in last 20 years
so you
where
think,
they have said...
Sir, I'm not a betting man, and unfortunately betting is illegal in this country, but I would wager you a lot of money that, you know, you are not going to win this election. Isn't it a bit futile to sit here on national TV and suggest that, you know, actually you're going to win West Bengal?
Yes, we will win in West Bengal. And what I am saying, that all these kind of prediction during the last 2 decades always underestimate the strength of the left. The only one consistent point of this kind of psephology. And unfortunately in West Bengal politics, when media take a very much biased role, and most of the cases, media is conducting this kind of exercise. And their prediction is very much biased according to their political choice. And if you go to the other channels also, the number is fluctuating from 48 to left to 188 for the left.
So are you saying that NewsX has a political bias, and that's why we're showing Mamta Banerjee winning in West Bengal? Is that your explanation for the exit poll? Is Yashwant Deshmukh sitting here and me entering into some conspiracy to show Mamta Banerjee as being more successful in the polls than you? Is that seriously what you're telling our viewers?
I don't know who is biased, but definitely media in West Bengal politics is very much biased. You can explain me why in all the occasion your poll prediction you show the left strength is minimum. You go through the last 20 years. It's a consistently you are underestimating the strength of the left.
Okay, Derek O'Brien. So let me ask Derek O'Brien to respond, because Derek, apparently your wait and work of 34 years has all come down to a media bias.
You know, it's very difficult now. We are finding it very difficult in the last 1 month to respond to anything the left says, because what do you respond? I mean, people are watching your program, people are watching your program, people are listening to the arguments they are putting forth, and people at home in their living rooms, they are mature people, they're listening to both sides of the argument, they're seeing certain, he's talking about a television channel giving them 180. I mean, you know, even the Dormouse, which is in a drain in Park Street, the Dormouse under the drain, even the Dormouse knows that the left is going to lose. So what is Mr. Mukherjee talking about? But anyway, we shall give him the benefit of the doubt. And I think what's the big learning here for those of you watching is you just have to see how adamant the left is, and they don't listen to the voice of the ground. They ignore it because they shut themselves out. So they live in this fool's paradise. So Mr. Mukherjee is doing predictably what the people of Bengal have seen the left doing for the last many years.
Okay, let's put this to Yashwant. You were there. What actually was the reason? I mean, the exit poll has the numbers, but what could you pinpoint for viewers as one or two key reasons for this complete slide that the left is now dealing with?
It's total sentiment for change, nothing else. I mean, it was stagnancy over there, and people wanted a change, and they were not getting the way out. And finally, in the name of Mamata Banerjee, they got a way out, and people have voted for change. And I don't really blame, I don't blame any politician, any losing politician to accept the poll figures. You know, we haven't matured that level where in UK, after the exit poll, the Prime Minister tends to resign. But out here, I don't agree. I mean, I agree with that. No politician
so
would be saying that.
Let's live with hope for 2 more days. But let's go to another party. Manish Tiwari from the Congress is also with us. Now, when we're looking at performances, Manish, before we actually come to you, I'm going to ask Yashwant Deshmukh to show you what the exit poll looks like just for the Congress itself. And as you'll see, it's not a great picture. Yashwant, go ahead.
Congress would have loved to see that Trinamool needs them badly to run the government. But what it looks like, Jahangir, is that Trinamool is probably going to cross the majority mark on its own, though the mandate was for the alliance, all said and done. But as far as the real politics is concerned, I don't think Congress would have loved the idea of Trinamool getting the majority on its own.
Okay.
So, that's going to uncomfort
Manish Tiwari, as you see those figures so low, isn't it a bit disappointing for the Congress that even when the state of Bengal is looking for change, they'll look anywhere except to the Congress?
Well, I do not want to put a question mark on the efficacy of exit polls, but I think I would rather err on the side of caution and wait for the results to come out on the 13th of May before hazarding a comment one way or the other. The history of exit polls is that at times they have been bang on and at times they have been completely off the mark. So therefore, I guess we'll need to really wait in terms of exact number of seats, in terms of how government is going to be formed, to come to any conclusion.
I take your point. Everyone wants to question exit polls when the numbers don't sort of serve their message. But let's just look at one more figure. Though it's from an exit poll, the Trinamool Congress has added 9% of the vote to its kitty. You've added just 1% in a state that is crying for change. How can you say to me that this can't be disheartening for the Congress?
Well, eventually, whether it is 9% or it is 19% or it's 1% or it's 11%, you know, we'll just have to wait for the results to come out. On the whole, I think the Congress has done well in West Bengal. We've put our best foot forward and we've come out in this election as a very cohesive and a very integrated team at the grassroots level.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask Derek O'Brien the one question that many people in India have in their mind. Derek O'Brien, if you will win this election, that's fairly clear right now. Will Mamata Banerjee become the chief minister of West Bengal, or is she going to sort of take the Shiv Sena model and is she going to sit with the remote control in her hand?
Do you want a monosyllabic answer?
Yeah, that's fine. Just tell us, because we're all wanting to know.
Yes.
Okay, so she will be the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Now, let me go to the next thing that's troubling everyone. And Mr. Mukherjee, I'd like you to respond to this first, actually. We've seen in West Bengal already, while there's talk of a massive change after 34 years, the question on everyone's mind is whether this will unleash some kind of violence across West Bengal. I know that the TMC has been talking about change and not revenge. But are you concerned that West Bengal could basically see a slide into intense violence, sir?
I don't think so, because this time also people will support Left Front, and they are voting in favor of peace and stability in the political scenario of the state. So people's support will help aid the Left Front government to stabilize the whole state and reduce the violence. And again, on behalf of the Left Front, I will request all the political party who will sit in the opposition in the next assembly should come together, talk with the government, have a basic solution. It is an ultimate desire of the people of the West Bengal. The violence should not be in the main scenario of West Bengal politics. So let all the political parties sit together. Last time Ms. Mamata Banerjee has refused to come with the government. With this time defeat, I think she can understand it is better to sit with the state government and find out what is the best way to keep the peace in the West Bengal.
Let me ask Yashwant Sinha this. We know that the TMC is winning, but we don't know exactly why. Can you tell us two things? One, what was the single voter group that really swayed it in support of the Trinamool Congress, and what was the one issue that you think really swung it in her favor? Apart from the generic idea of bad governance and change, was there one issue and one group that really sort of has been responsible for this result?
I think the one group that has changed everything is the young voter group. That has changed a lot. I mean, the big thing. Second is the deep roots in the rural part of the Bengal, where Mamata has really hit it really hard to the Left Front. And in that group, I would specifically name the minority votes, which have actually changed the entire game in West Bengal. Minority vote bank has been so far altogether very loyal to the left, but after Singur and Nandigram, finally it has changed. It has switched over to the Mamata Banerjee and Congress combined, and this is where this was probably the final thing to have been done to Left Front. So this is done, but I agree with your previous question, which you were asking to the other experts and panelists. Violence is something which everybody is going to fear. It's been 35 years, Jahangir over there, and it has been quite a lot of one-sided violence as well. So I guess that it is going to be a big headache for Mamata Banerjee and TMC if they come to power, and their phrase line being "Badla nahi badal chai." But I guess that it will be hard time for them to let their cadres and let their supporters understand "Badla nahi badal chai."
All right. Well, that's what we're discussing. The exit poll that NewsX and C-Voter have put together after 5 states have ended their polling. Now, as we're seeing in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee headed for a clean sweep, almost a 3/4 majority, but under the shadow of violence. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll share with you the exit poll for the other states, and we'll talk more about West Bengal and whether the threat and fear of violence will come true and how we can control that. Don't go away. We'll be right back.